Hello grade 6, how are you today? So for today, we're going to continue our discussion in Unit 6, Mix and Mash. So you can see it in your Impact 1 student book, pages 98 to 99. So let's proceed. Our topic for today is adjectives, comparing two or more things. So before that, we have our objectives. So what are those? So first, students will use adjectives to compare two or more things and use words associated with hybrid sports. So later on, we will know what are the hybrid sports that we're going to discuss, okay? So are you ready now? Okay, so first of all, please prepare your pencils and your notebooks because we will have our vocabulary. So the first word in our vocabulary is boxing. So the sport or practice of fighting with the fists, especially with padded gloves in a roped square ring according to prescribed rules. That is boxing. Next, bucket. A roughly cylindrical open container with a handle. So made of metal or plastic and used to hold and carry liquids. Bucket. Next, cheaper. Cheaper means low in price, especially in relation to similar items or services. Cheaper. Next word is expensive. So expensive means costing a lot of money. That is expensive. Next, golf. Golf is a game played on a large open-air course in which a small hard ball is struck with a club into a series of small holes in the ground. So the object being to use the fewest possible strokes to complete the course. That is golf. Next word is handball. So meaning it is a team game similar to soccer in which the ball is thrown or hit with the hands rather than kicked. Handball. Next, hockey. Hockey is a team game played between two teams of 11 players each, using hooked sticks with which the players try to drive a small hard ball towards goals at opposite ends of a field. Hockey. Next, metal. So a metal is a solid material which is typically hard, shiny, malleable, fusible, and ductile, which are with good electrical and thermal conductivity. So for example, iron, gold, silver, and aluminum, and alloys such as steel. So that is metal. Next, regular. So regular is, or meaning, recurring at uniform intervals. Regular. Okay, next word is rugby. So rugby is a team game played with an oval ball that may be kicked, carried, or passed from hand to hand. Rugby. Okay, next word is snowboarding. So snowboarding is a sport or pastime of sliding downhill on a snowboard. Snowboarding. Okay. Next, volcano. Volcano is a mountain or hill, typically conical, having a crater or vent through which lava, rock fragments, hot vapor, and gas are or have been erupted from the Earth's crust. Volcano. Next, hybrid. Okay, so hybrid or the offspring of two plants or animals of different species or varieties. Hybrid. Next, create. Create meaning to bring something into existence. Create. And the last word is version. So version is a particular form of something differing in certain respects from an earlier form or other forms of the same type of thing. Version. Okay. So those are the words or vocabulary words that we may encounter in our discussion. So let us proceed. So our topic for today is adjectives, right? So let us discuss first what is an adjective. So maybe some of you or most of you have the idea what is an adjective, or if you can remember what is an adjective. So adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. So a noun or a pronoun is the name referring to a person, an animal, a thing, or place and event. Okay, so the word that describes to it is called an adjective. So for example of an adjectives are sweet, tall, beautiful, soft, and hard. So those are only some of the examples of adjectives. So let's proceed. Adjectives comparing two or more things. Okay, so in your student book, you can see there the grammar point in page 98. So in the first sentence, underwater hockey is a newer version of field hockey. Underwater hockey is more difficult than field hockey. Chess boxing is less tiring than boxing. And chess boxing is noisier than regular chess. And the rules of boxing are simpler or more simple than those of chess boxing. Next, ice football isn't as popular as traditional football. And lastly, some fans like ice football better than traditional football. So as you can see in the grammar point in your book, underwater hockey is compared to field hockey, right? And also chess boxing to boxing and regular chess. Okay, so what can you observe in our statements? So you can see there the highlighted words. For example, newer version, more difficult than, less tiring than, noisier than, simpler or more simple than, as popular as, and better than. So those are the highlighted words in the grammar point. So what can you observe in those phrases or group of words? Okay, some of them have the ER. Okay, for example, newer, noisier, simpler. Okay, so what do you think? Those are significant in adjectives comparing two or more things. Okay, so we will know later. Okay, so for next here, so we will see here, so the adjective hard, when we put it or we compare or we put it in a sentence that is comparing two or more things, it becomes harder. Okay, simple to simpler, but fun to more fun, or for simple, simpler or more simple, and then noisy to noisier, and difficult to more difficult. Okay, so there are some adjectives that you just add ER at the end of its word, and also some we use more or less. Okay, so for more information, we have here the comparative adjectives. So if we got only one syllable adjectives, we just add ER at the end of the word. For example, long is the longer, straight is the straighter, big is the bigger, tall is to taller, large, larger, hot is to hotter. Next, for two-syllable adjectives, we have honest to more honest, happy to happier, narrow to narrower, famous to more famous, crazy to crazier, and gentle to gentler. And also for three or more syllables, we have expensive to more expensive, popular to more popular, confident to more confident, dangerous to more dangerous, beautiful to more beautiful, and difficult to more difficult. So as what you can observe, for three or more syllables, we don't put er at the end of the word. So we just use more than the adjective or the base form of the word. So for example, more expensive. Okay, so we don't have to put er at the end of the word. Okay, so last time we already encountered irregular verbs, right? So we also have what we call irregular adjectives. So when we say irregular, it is not the same as the others. Okay, so it means some adjectives change their spelling to make it or comparative. So for example, good is to better, bad is to worse, far to farther, many to more, little to less, and another for far is to further. Okay, so what do you think is the difference between the comparative adjective for far, that is farther, and further? So farther with a or farther, meaning or when you're referring to the physical distance. Okay, farther. Next is further, further, meaning the figurative distance. Okay, so they have the difference. Okay, so always remember that. Okay, so did you understand what we just discussed about comparative adjectives, grade 6? Okay, so if you have question, just message me directly. Okay, so let us proceed. In activity 1, so you have there listen, tick the words you hear, then write the comparative form of each ticked word. So we have 10 words. Okay, so you have to tick or put a check mark on the word that you hear in the article. Okay, and also you have to write the comparative form of each ticked word. Okay, so listen as I read the track 81. Okay, so I will start. Philip Ekmans visited Brazil and saw how soccer, volleyball, dance, and music all came together on its beaches. He created a sport that mixed all of this together, the baseball. Baseball is more unusual than some other sports because it's played on a huge blow-up court with a trampoline in it. It's easier to plan a game because it can be played indoors or outdoors. Players say they're more active playing baseball than regular volleyball. So it's harder but more enjoyable. Music is usually played during games. Fans say that baseball is as much fun as a party. They say it's better than watching other sports because of the music. So in your book, you can see there a picture of the game baseball. Okay, at the right side of the page of your book, you can see there the sport. Okay, so in this activity, you have to put a check mark on the word that you heard from what I have read, okay? And also, you have to put or write the comparative form of each ticked word. Understood? Okay, let us proceed. Activity number 2. You have to read and complete the sentences with the correct comparative form. Okay. So we have 4 sentences, and as what you can see there in the parentheses, you see there the word or the adjective, and you have to put its comparative form. So you can see if we have the plus sign, it means you have to put the positive form, equal sign, and also the negative form. Okay? Next. So in activity number 4, you have to listen and read to find out about another unusual sport. Okay. So you have a quote there in your book, and you have to listen carefully as I read. Okay. Track 82. A hybrid sport mixes 2 or more sports to create a new sport. Hybrid sports aren't often as popular as the original sports they come from, but they can still be really fun to play. Most players love golf because they play it outdoors, but some players hate how expensive it can be to play. Disc golf is a hybrid sport that is a less expensive version of golf. Disc golf is more popular than other hybrid sports. It's played in more than 40 countries. In the game, players try to throw a disc into a metal bucket. Not all discs are at the same size. Some are bigger than others, which makes it harder to get them in the bucket. Okay, so track 83. Learn new words. Create. So people create new games using ideas from other sports. Create. Next, hate. Some people hate hybrid sports. Hate. Next, hybrid. Disc golf is a hybrid sport. Hybrid. Next, love. Many people love to watch sports on TV. Love. And lastly, version. Street soccer is a simple version of traditional soccer. Version. So those are the words that we encountered in the reading. Okay. So in the quote that is written in your book, it says, "Do you hate how expensive it is to play golf? Try disc golf instead. It's a cheaper version of golf. Disc golf is a hybrid sport. People created it using ideas from golf and disc throwing. Now, it's very popular. Many players love it." Okay. So you can see there, activity 5. So we already read, or you have to read about the hybrid sport volcano boarding. Okay. So earlier we read about the hybrid sport called disc golf. So now you're going to read about volcano boarding. So you have to circle the correct words in the sentence. So we have 5 sentences, and you have to choose the correct word in each sentence. So circle your answer. So if you're done, you can take a picture of those activities that you have to answer, and you have to pass it to me, okay? So for your homework, in activity number 6, you have to compare the hybrid sports you read about to traditional sports. So make at least 5 sentences. So hybrid sports are those sport that we just or people just created out of traditional sports or original sport. So you have to compare it the hybrid sports that we read about in the discussion, and also to traditional sports. So traditional sports are those the original sports that we have. Okay, so you make a paragraph, at least 5 sentences. Okay, so that would be all for today. Bye.